But while I was waiting, I was looking up my guitar.
I heard you.
It's basically no.
I think I saw you with some like apps on the phone or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna hook it up one of these days. I'm gonna get pretty good, I think.
I think you will too, because you always wanted to do that.
True that. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Taking the Stage. Okay, well, first of all, the microphone should not be in the camera. Okay. Second of all, you gotta scoot over a bit so we can both.
You don't want to be close to me?
I said scoot over a bit so we can be equally in.
Okay.
Okay, anyway. I'm the math guy, Steve. This is
Paige, baby.
Paige, babe. Okay. Poop, how was your day? Why you over here trying to
I wanted to see.
The docket. Look at her.
I wanted to see.
Okay.
No, today was, I don't know, today felt fast, but it was very peaceful. Third and I got like some quality time in this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we went to the fair.
Oh, that was yesterday,
yeah. Yesterday. And I was just really excited. Like, Mel got to be out. She has never been in a crowd like that. Mm-hmm. And it looked like it because she was trying to get into everything. And, I was panicking and stuff. So
she was a little active, but
she enjoyed herself. And that's all I wanted, was for her to have a good time and, like, just experience something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good time. Yesterday was a good time, and today was. And we got home.
Our last 30 minutes, 40 minutes have been crazy.
A bit hectic.
Trying to put both the kids to bed.
One to bed, then the other to bed, then the other one wake up.
Then go to bed, then the other one wake up.
Anyway, what? We're here. We're pottying.
Oh yes,
is that a way to say it? Okay. Yeah, because we couldn't shoot last week. So on the last episode of Taking the Stage.
Oh, okay. To bring your husband.
Neither here nor there. So it was fun. Now they bring up the whole baby shower. Oh, that's okay, and it becomes too much at one time, or you should do this and you shouldn't do this, and that type of thing. So you don't want that part because he cannot hold water.
It was so funny. Like, we made sure Janae knew, and we were like, "Do not tell Shane, her husband."
After we finished, after the whole baby shower was finished, Janae came up and said, "So y'all ready?" Like, just she knew that she knew the whole situation. Whereas my brother do nothing, but then that's every fault of his own. He can't hold water. He can't. Paige is okay. So they set up right in front of my parents' fireplace, 2 chairs, one for Paige and one for me. And she had I can say my mom's company, right? That's hers. Okay, anyway.
Yes.
But so let's leave because we have to go straight to the birthing center because we discussed Steven's birthday, the actual day that he was birthed, and we only got to a certain point. Do you remember the last thing we said?
After the paramedics got there,
then they said someone had to cut the cord.
Yes.
Dot.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Continue there. Come on, just leave it there. That's called a cliffhanger.
I was asking you today, like, what were we talking about? Like, how I always ask you. I'm like, I completely forgot this. We stopped. So after they said that we had to cut the cord to get to, in order for us to leave, which in my mind I'm like, this was an emergency situation. We were calling the ambulance. We were calling 911. So were they going to leave us there if we really were like, no, don't cut the cord?
Probably not, but just go ahead.
But still. But that's what they told us. Like, we can't move this vehicle until the cord is cut.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I was in there by myself with the firemen and the paramedics because my mom had walked out to go and everybody, well, y'all like calling her, like people calling her and stuff. So she had walked out.
And I'm not there to cut the cord like we planned.
You weren't there. You with your mom, like trying to go and get our bags and stuff. And then like it really looked like a movie scene. Like your dad like swooped in. Like everyone else was standing up. I was of course laying flat on the floor, and everybody else was like standing and hovering over me. And he kind of like he swooped in between people and was like, tell me what I need to do, tell me what I need to do. And in that moment I was just like, thank you. Like I don't know what that was, but it must have been the father that told him that like he needed his presence was needed in that time because it was just me and them in that moment, and then your dad came in, and so I remember that. Oh, I forgot to say that the guy was like, "Are you Grandpa?" And then he was like, "Yes, I am," and he was like, all right, you ready? And I was like, cut it. And like, I remember saying that. I never said that before, but that's what happened. That's what the guy said. He was like, are you Grandpa? And so.
You told me that part.
Oh, okay. So.
Usually when you tell the story, you don't.
I know, it just came back to me like just now. It really depends. Like when I go through telling the story a million times as I've had to do, you remember bits and pieces. And so that part just came back to me.
Well, the reason why I know you've told me that part is because I was like, you said Grandpa.
Yeah, and I was like, nobody called him. You mean Fall?
Right. You mean grandfather. Okay. Wait a minute, go ahead.
So, your dad cut the cord, and that's when they were able to, they wrapped him up in the foil blanket, the baby. They wrapped him up. And Pops was holding him, and then my mom came back. Oh, no. Pops was holding him. Then that's when they were ready for us to leave. So I remember them asking me, do you want us to lift you onto the gurney or can you stand up? And so, the whole time I was asking them to check my vitals because my body was in shock because I had just had the baby. Well, I thought my blood pressure was dropping. In my mind, I was about to die. So I was like, no, I need to do anything active.
You have to understand, Paige is dramatic in general.
I'm not dramatic. I remain calm in situations.
If she hears you on the phone say, "Oh my goodness," her first reaction is, "Who died?"
Okay, because I'm usually right about that.
That's her. No, you're not. You're most times wrong.
Sometimes I'm right.
So, okay, anyway. But yeah.
When it comes like to my children and stuff, like, of course, if I feel like my body isn't doing what it's normally doing, I'm like, no, continue to check me just to make sure that everything looks right.
Right.
So I kept asking them, like, take my pressure and things like that. And so, yeah, I was like, man, your body is in shock. You had a baby. And so that's why you're shaking so much. But in my mind, I'm calm. But physically, I was like, so like, I don't know, it kind of felt like an out of body experience because every part of me was shaking and like I could not control it. But I didn't want to let the thought of that overtake me, I guess. I didn't want that part to throw me off of what the main priority was, which was him. Yeah. So they asked me if I could stand up and walk to the ambulance or if I wanted to, to the gurney. They already had it laid out. So they asked me if I wanted to be lifted onto it or if I wanted to walk. So I was like, I could stand up. So they helped me stand up. And of course my feet and everything I healed very quickly from that. So I was fine. I stood up, laid on the gurney because I guess that was just protocol. They have to like roll you out and things like that. And I was rolled off, lifted into the truck, and then your daddy said something funny because he was sitting in there at first. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, in the ambulance,
yeah, he was sitting in there first waiting with third. And I didn't know, I've never ridden in an ambulance before, but they have to lock you into the truck. Yeah. Well, they have to lock the gurney into the truck. And so they like rolled me in, but they like could not get it to like lock in.
Oh, you're shaking back and forth. You told me this.
Yeah. And so the whole time, you know, I just had the baby. They just cut the cord. I still have like the placenta and everything. Like I have his umbilical cord like hanging out of me still, and they're like trying to shake this thing in, and then they like kind of lock it in, and then your daddy was like, "And you act like you got shot." You went, "Oh." Like, bro. I had a whole baby just come out of me. Of course, I made a noise. Everything is raw. Like it was a bizarre situation. But we before we even left, they would not let us leave until we like signed all these, or until I like signed the paperwork and stuff for the insurance. And I'm like, is this what normally happens in emergency situations? Because the entire time I'm trying to listen to make sure that I can hear my son crying, to make sure he's okay. And they're like, is this the address? And this the name? And this is this? And I'm like, can we do this once we make sure that he's okay? Like, that was blowing my mind that none of that mattered to them.
Yeah.
They were like, well, for billing. And I'm like, can we worry about billing later? Like, y'all
gonna get y'all money, whatever.
If y'all needed, my DNA is on the floor in the bathroom. Like, take me to go and get checked out.
Right.
But it did take a minute for us to even leave. So we left and stuff, and we went to the hospital.
Well, first, so my part of this is that, okay, so we're on the way back, and on the road. So moms would tell her that I'm going the fastest I've ever driven a car in my entire life, zooming in and out of traffic.
Is that really saying a lot? Because you drive like an old man.
So you know how fast I was going.
Normal speed.
I'm
joking.
If mom said I'm going fast.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but my mom, first of all, funny part, my mom had the bright idea to get us in and out of traffic on the interstate. Don't they have don't people be putting white flags on the outside of their car to have people let them pass? So she grabbed the first white thing she saw on the floor in my car, which was some white sheet or something.
It was Mel's tutu.
It was a tutu, and she's holding this out of the window while I got my hazard lights on, and we're just flying through traffic. So anyway, now when I'm thinking, okay, well, last thing I heard, they were taking you and Steven back to the birthing center.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my dad, I said, or Shane, whoever was there, I remember talking to them, and I said, should we go straight to the birthing center or go to the house? Again, the birthing center and the house are like 5 minutes away from each other, not even. And they said, well, just go straight.
On the same campus as the hospital.
Right, but they told us to go straight there rather than going to the house. So we get to the birthing center. No one's there except the midwife. And we looking at the hospital. Y'all didn't pull up to the hospital.
What was she saying? I never asked you that.
What was the midwife saying?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to have small talk. And I was very confused. I'm like, this is not the time for that. I mean, sweet lady, but I'm not thinking about anything you're talking about right now, okay?
Wow.
So
it was the same lady who we saw earlier that day?
Yeah. Same lady. And so, because she's just like, yeah, this is crazy. This is a crazy story. It just never happened. I've never seen anything like this. Because she was only 1 centimeter. So I've never seen anything like. So I'm like, okay, but still, the kids here, we're trying to get somewhere. So what's the next steps? And so anyway, she was like, well, we just gotta wait on them and see, what happens when they get here. Well, coming to find out, the ambulance would not allow y'all to go straight to the birthing center. Right. That's their protocol, that they have to go directly to the hospital, no matter what.
Yeah, because the ambulance have a contract with the hospital.
Right.
So they couldn't take us to the birth center, even though the
ambulance supposedly told us.
Yeah, initially they told us that we were going to go to the birth center. Mm-hmm. And then when the lead guy who I was talking about last time came in, he was like, no, we can only leave once we cut the cord, and we're only going to the hospital. He was being like so mean. I'm like, given the situation, give me a little grace. Like, he was just like,
And Well, but the reason I bring all that up is because I'm sitting there waiting for like 15 minutes at the birthing center. I could have been there at the house with y'all. Time. Like, so anyway, we're just waiting, sitting there, and then we see the ambulance pull up, and we think they're coming to the birthing center. They go to the hospital.
That's the video you had?
Yes. Really, third? That's how you coming in, bro?
Oh, I'm trying to turn off the lights. Or take your lights going, bro.
That's how you show up.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, I got a video. Oh, they pulling up. Okay, y'all. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Okay. I guess we got to get in the car. All right, bye. I said bye to the video, whatever. And so we get in the car. We drive to the hospital. Emergency or ambulance or what's it called? Emergency entrance or whatever it is. Okay, what's y'all's part from there? What happens when y'all pull up to the emergency exit, the emergency entrance?
Well, from my perspective, I saw y'all first. So I don't have any memory of really like pulling up or any questions that were asked or anything. Like as soon as I saw you, I kind of forgot everything. And like once I saw you in my mind, I was like, okay, it's game time.
Well, no, there's a part before you saw me that you said right when y'all got into the...
Okay, see, I never know when that part
So that part happens before
because in my mind, I'm like, I saw you and then all of that.
Okay, well, say the part that we're talking
about. Okay, so we get into... Oh, yeah, because I had the baby. Yeah. So we get into the emergency room and they're rushing us in. And my mom has third like in the foil blanket and security jumps up because I don't know what they thought it was, but they jump up and then you just hear people going of course they're rolling me in on the gurney and she has this and has him and you can hear people saying oh no, it's a baby. And so it's like, you know how when you go to a basketball game or whatever and you do like the wave, how it starts with one person and more people, like that's how it sounded. It was like you could hear a couple people saying it's a baby, and then everybody's like it's a baby, and then security and everything is jumping up, like the security behind the screen, not security at the door, because security at the door didn't know what she had. And then you see people rushing. They don't really know what buttons to press or how to open. What we were waiting on was to see how they could open the emergency room, like doors to go to the emergency elevator and stuff to go up. And so, but that's when you were there. And
so that's my part. So I come in and I didn't hear that part of what you're talking about, but like soon thereafter, maybe 5 seconds after you said this part happens, then that's when me and my mom get there running into the hospital and we actually meet y'all as y'all are about to go through the original doors. And then they say, your mom says, that's the daddy right there. That's the daddy.
Okay, because I do remember hearing, he's the dad. And then they were like, he's the dad, we'll hand him over. And then they were like, you need to go talk to mom. Like, you need to go and check in. Exactly. He goes up and that.
So
I do remember
they wouldn't allow anybody else to go up in the elevator with us. It was just be me, you, and the baby. Mm-hmm. And of course, and the hospital people that are there. So your mom couldn't go up with us. So that's why I can't remember if they handed me the baby or handed the baby to you. I don't remember that part.
I remember them handing you the baby because I thought them so saying, too, but I couldn't remember. He's the dad. I remember that.
Because your mom handed me the baby, and then I think I'm walking with you and holding him while you're on the gurney, and we're walking together into the next doors to go to the elevator or whatever it was. So I'm holding him, and I'm finding a little calmer. I can breathe, but my memory, like you said, is kind of blank for a lot of the intermediate parts there. So then we get to finally we get to the actual hospital room that they gave, the original hospital room they gave us. So so we get up to our actual hospital room, and the next part I remember is, okay, so they get us in there and they have you sitting on your hospital bed. Mm-hmm. They have him in a bassinet of sorts under a heating lamp.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a little freaked out because he was already small. Also, it's a lot of people, and I'm not too good with a lot of people around.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people touching on you, touching on him. Then they pull me to the side and have me sign all these waivers. And I'm a little freaked out because I had signed waivers for you before for
I didn't even know what they had just asked me.
Yeah, for insurance stuff for Mel when she was born, but this one felt weirder because it was not only signed, but I already knew that he's coming, unexpectedly. He's coming out of, literally out of nowhere, right? And then so I'm already my anxiety is already high, and then signing the papers this time was just totally different. Where I'm just like, what if something really happens to you, right? So I get to that, sign the papers, and I remember you asked me at one point. Well, okay, we're sorry. What's your after we get to the hospital room? What do you remember from that point on?
Being in pain. No, because I still had the placenta in me, so I was still having contractions the entire time. Like when they locked me into the thing, when I had to stand up and walk, when they locked me into the ambulance, the whole ride there, whole ride up the elevator, like everything, every single contraction I'm still feeling. And I'm like, I remember asking one of them, I'm like, okay, so realistically, how long is this supposed to last? Because those are still the same contractions that you get with childbirth. It kind of equated to like a second birth or whatever. But to me, those felt more painful than the ones when I was pushing him out. I guess because once you push him out, once you push a child out, like all of that, like adrenaline and hormones, like all of that stuff, like mixed together, it makes you feel a certain way. And then like once he was here, I was just like, okay, like now I'm just tired. But my body is still pushing
right.
all of that out. And I'm like, how much longer is this supposed to last? So I remember being up there and waiting for the doctor to come in. And I do remember you being over there with him. And I'm trying to focus on what's going on with me and what's going on with you. But I remember you looking like you had it. I mean, you looked focused and everything. And, nothing looked too terrible. Yeah. Like, to me, I was just like, as long as I could, I remember focusing very hard on him. I was like, as long as I could, like, see him moving, I can hear him crying. Like, I knew he was okay. Like, it looked, of course, it was an emergency. So it looked as an emergency would look. But I don't know, like something about that moment, that day, I just continuously just felt safe.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part. So like that's what I was about to bring up, the fact that so at one point your mom asked me, Steven, are you okay? And I remember thinking to myself, not really. I'm thinking
that. Yeah, because they both let both our moms up, right?
Yeah, so they finally they finally let both of our moms up, but it was only 2 visitors that we could have, so just our moms. Mm-hmm. We couldn't have any kids, of course, but there's only 2 people. So actually, eventually, when we get to, which is a later episode, but when we get to visiting hours and stuff with him, there were only 2.
And I never even asked them like about that time, like when they were in the emergency room with us and stuff like that. Because I never even think about that part. Like, if you notice, every time I tell a story, I always go right to, like, when we're in the room and stuff with him.
Right.
I always forget about all of that part.
The initial emergency. Well, yeah. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because that's what I was saying. Your mom asked me if I was okay, and I remember thinking to myself, how in the world could I be right now? Because I'm so concerned about y'all 2. Not to mention Mel's in the back of my mind, like what's going on? I don't know where she is.
Yeah, she's probably just like making sure you remain calm and stuff.
Which I was. I was just. That's what I'm saying. I in that moment, you're keeping your composure for the sake of everyone else. You're trying to make sure that everyone else is okay, which is what you were doing. Same thing. And And I remember right after she asked me that, they asked me to cut his umbilical cord, the extra part of it. And which I did. I was able to do that part. But then looking at him afterwards, I just came overwhelmed with emotion. Like, he's here. I just pray he's okay and safe. I'm praying that you're okay. And I just, it hit me all at once where I just needed a moment to myself. So I think, I don't know if I went to the corner or just tears were just coming down or whatever. I didn't say much because that entire time, if you do recall, I didn't say much at all the entire time we were in that room. Both of our moms are there, y'all talking, and I didn't say much because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to, like, usually, you know me. I can fill a room, I can be the life of the room, or I can sit back and chill but still be a part of the room. But that room, I had nothing because there's too much emotionally or too much going on where I'm just overwhelmed. So I'm just like, well, just stay composed, stay calm, and then feel later is kind of, which is it to a fault. I have that at times. It's kind of during hard, rough times for everyone else, I can feel my emotions later. So then after that, we get the news that we'll be moving to another room, but he won't be staying with us. He'll need extra care and time. This is from the doctor. Doctor finally gets there, and he'll be moved to what they call NICU, which is the intensive care unit. What's the
neonatal?
Oh, neonatal. Neonatal intensive care unit. And so he may be there for a while because his breathing isn't quite there yet. He needs to be under a light, under a light for a while.
He had jaundice.
And he can breathe on his own, but he's having big gasps in his breathing.
Yeah, they wanted to monitor him.
Yeah, and so we said, okay, we're gonna stay the night. Well, I'm definitely gonna stay.
I have to
say.
Yeah,
you gotta stay the night, of course. Overall, he was in NICU for 13 days.
Yep.
A Sunday to a Saturday. So technically 14 days. He came back on a 14 day. Which we'll tell more about that later. But how was the rest of that day for you, that night for you? How did you...
That he was born?
Yeah, the day that he was born. How did the rest of that day go for you?
I really don't remember that much. Like, the day he was born, I remember all of the bigger portions. And like, once he was here, and once you were here, and the only thing I remember about being away from him initially was that I remember just being spaced out. Like, I don't know, it kind of felt like everything was going in slow motion. And the only thing on my mind was, no news is good news.
Yeah, you said that. You actually said that a couple of times, yes.
So I just remember being fine with just us sitting still. Because I knew that they were taking care of him. I don't even remember like if they came into the room, like the NICU nurses and stuff, to come and give us updates. I remember asking about him whenever we would get updates and stuff, but I don't remember calling a lot because I knew that, like I said, no news was good news. So I didn't want the people who were caring for him to be running back and forth, having to deal with us constantly calling.
Yeah, and I was talking about just that one specific day, because we're going to get to that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was like that day.
Okay.
Of course, he was like on my mind, and I'm like, I don't even think that I was trying to comprehend everything that had going on that day.
Yeah.
I was just tired. I was in a lot of pain. Like, your body goes through so many different changes. Like, my uterus was shrinking back down in size. Like, you're going through a lot.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always say I'm grateful for having him naturally, because I heal very quickly. I jump back very quickly. Quicker than I did with Mel. But then it was kind of like the opposite situation. Like with Mel, I had like the spinal drip and everything that was going on. And so it took me
birthing was a little bit.
Yeah, birthing her was
tedious on your body.
And so it kind of took away my capacity to be able to take care of her, because physically I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to this time, I was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm good, I'm prepared, I'm here, I can care for him, stand up for him, I can advocate for him more than I could with Mel.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little more comfortable in this situation. And I don't know, I'm just always thankful for my mindset during that time, because I didn't really know what was really at risk during that. Well, I did know, but it wasn't on my mind at all.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's it.
So that
the Almighty gives you solace during that time, I suppose.
Definitely.
Because you like you said, there are so many things that can go wrong, but if you're so focused on, okay, let's do things right in your mind. Okay, what can I do properly right in this moment to get to make sure that it goes smoothly? Then yeah,
because that left space for me to really handle things accordingly. Because I could have completely freaked out when my water broke, which would have put stress on him, put stress on the whole delivery, or I could have been calm the whole time. I could have freaked out when I was delivering him.
Yeah.
And
or during the umbilical cord thing, or on the way to the hospital.
And he wasn't at the birth center. He wasn't at the hospital. He wasn't in any place where anybody could really give him help. So I'm definitely always thankful and very grateful that, I had that mindset during that time to just remain calm. Even though I don't really remember a lot of it. I don't. Right. Because the entire time, like, literally all I was thinking was just thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to be honest, I was not there. Not saying I wasn't saying thanking the Almighty for them, but I wasn't saying thank you directly. I was more of I haven't written it down. I was worried, scared, shocked, and tired. All of those things were the things on my mind, and tired for sure. I knew I remember thinking vividly, I cannot wait to go to sleep because this probably is a dream. I remember thinking that because it didn't seem real. It was too much at one day. Or not too much, clearly not too much, but it was a lot in one day where I didn't know how to respond or how to react.
Having a baby and the baby shower on the same day?
No. The baby shower was going to be plenty for that day. I'll be honest with you.
And we had gone to bed at like 3 a.m. the morning before.
Yeah. Well, and then I remember thinking to myself, I've never spent more than one night at a time away from Mel.
Right. That was very hard.
And so remembering that, okay, I started recognizing that I'm going to have to, it may be a couple of days away from my child, my son, that I didn't know how to even respond with that. And so I just remember thinking, man, I just need to go to sleep and get some rest.
Yeah, I was not prepared to have an extended stay away from Mel. I wasn't. So I think that's why when, we were discharged, when I was discharged, that's why I was like, we need to go every day. because I don't want him to be there by himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I felt so bad not being able to be with Mel, even though I saw her every day. But the hospital isn't going to discharge me because I just had the baby. So, and I wanted her to be there.
Yeah, COVID protocols, that wasn't possible.
And she couldn't see her brother. Like,
she didn't see her brother till we got back. So it was just it you know, like I think the key part is what you said, that you know, during that time we could have there was so many steps where it could have fallen apart, or we could have fallen apart individually, collectively. We could have freaked out during a lot of these parts during a lot of this time, but we got a big man upstairs on our side, so and that's why we pray. That's why we focus. That's why we I give myself away. Okay, sorry. Y'all, okay. But no, okay. I think it's a good place to stop. I think you know, after this night, and then we have the aftermath of Stephen's birth, and whether not just the couple of days after, not just the weeks after, but what it is now, living with. They got 2 of them, bro. Listen, Mel is already enough. Then this boy, anyway.
I want to say, I don't know about you, but when I'm with him, it's more like a vacation.
when you with just him, is what you mean?
Even with both of them, I'm like, all right, I got the baby.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
She is a handful.
She's like, Steven, come get your daughter. I got your boy.
Oh, this is one of our short episodes.
Yeah, because it was only supposed to be 1 episode.
Oh, okay. So
the day of is supposed to be. Yeah, this is just
part 2,
the part 2 of that middle part, and then it's supposed to be the lead up, then the day of, and then the aftermath. So which is fine. Basically, we go enjoy ourselves for a few hours. Okay, hour.
No, I was saying it's already 10:30.
All right, you got anything else?
No. Thank you for letting me get all this out. I don't know. I don't really talk about it like that. Like when I spoke about it at church because everybody wanted to know. You remember me being so tired after?
Yeah.
Because like I just gave everything. I just want to. I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm getting rid of anything, but it feels like a
get it off your chest, kind of.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm with you. That was good epi. Good epi. I enjoyed it.
Epi?
We shorten everything here, okay, Paige? It's called the potty. It's a good epi. We pottying. Okay?
That's shortening?
It's actually, I think it's maybe extending as podcasting, pottying. The same symbol. Anyway. Alright. Well, thank you for taking the stage, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye. I want to see if he's going to say anything right after pressing.
I was like, is he not pressing the button? Like, what's going on? I guess it's because I was looking this time.
Press the button. Press the button.
Press the button.
Hey YouTubers, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also listen to our audio podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a good one.